We're going to break and run a rock of 8-ball. And I want to show a pretty simple way to run more rocks of 8-ball, more open rocks. So if you have an open table, fully open table, where there are no clusters to break out, no obvious safety shots that need to be played first before you can run out. It's a wide open run out from the bat, from the break. So I'll show you an easy way to make that happen more often. It's a mentality that you have to have when you look at the balls, and I'll show you that here. So this is a wide open rock. I have no clusters anywhere to break out. I don't foresee having to play any safety shots. I should be able to run out. The 11-ball goes. Everything goes. I can run the solids or the stripes. So I'll decide which one I want to do. And then I'll show you the little theory that I'm talking about to help you run out more rocks. So I'm going to pick the stripes only because I like a starter ball. I like this 15 ball in the side pocket better than I like thinning this 3 ball and bringing the cue ball over here and not being 100% certain what's going to happen next. I can shoot the 15 ball on the side, and I know the cue ball is going to come over here. So I can shoot the 13 over there and the 10 over here. So here's what I want to talk about. Instead of thinking that I want to run all of these stripes and get a shot on the 8, and I want to put the 15 here and the 13 over there and the 10 ball here, and then come down here and play the 11 ball and the 14, the 12. Instead of pinpointing position from here in the beginning of the game, which doesn't really happen as often as you think it does. I mean, the greatest pro players, they don't break a rock open like this and then like magic see where every ball's going to go and then shoot the rock that way. They have a good idea about where they're going to put the balls and how they're going to play the position, how they're going to play the rock, all 7 balls. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, that initial impression changes after about 2 shots, because the cue ball will get into a certain position and they'll rethink it. You always have to keep it current with the current position of where the cue ball is on the table. So you might have a really good idea of how you're going to run the balls, but you have to have some plasticity there. You can't be firm on that, and it's either that way or no way. If you want to run more rocks, you have to be a little more loose and realize that even when you watch some of the greatest players today, like Shane Van Boening, when you watch him play 8-ball, about every other shot, sometimes every 2 or 3 shots, he re-looks at everything, gives everything another whole fresh look, because the cue ball's not exactly where he thought it was going to be after that second shot or after the first shot or the third shot. So you have to keep reevaluating the situation. But what I want to show is to treat this more like a straight pool mentality instead of an 8-ball mentality. And there is a difference. A good straight pool player doesn't look at running all 15 balls individually. Looks at grouping the balls together. You would group these balls, shoot all of these balls. And then you would shoot these balls, maybe leaving this ball. Usually it's good playing straight pool, leave a ball up there. This is a group of balls right here. This is a group. So you're playing in groups. And it just happens to be that when you shoot this group and then leave that group from a key shot that pulls you into another group, and you shoot all of those balls in the group, after you're finished popping all these groups off, you've run a bunch of balls. But you did them in little groups, little increments of 3 and 4 and 2, a single ball here and there. So you can get a really great run by thinking of it in a group mentality. So do 8-ball the same way. instead of trying to plot out all 7 balls, which doesn't happen very often at all, even with the greatest players, just look at this. I'm going to shoot these 3 balls. That's a group. I want to discard those 3 balls right off the bat. I'm going to shoot those balls in. It's going to get me started. Another group is down here. The 8 ball's out in the open. I can use any of these balls to get to this 8, so I'm not worried about a key ball to get me to the 8 ball. The 11 ball goes. So I like calling this 2 groups. I've got a group of balls right here, and I've got a group of balls down here. But we can divide this up and call the 11 ball and the 9 ball and the 12 ball a group. The problem is the 12 goes here, but I have to move the 9 first. I have to make the 9 ball first. So I would consider this one group, the 14 and the 9, another group, because I can use the 14 ball to get me a shot on the 9. And then I can come out of the 9 to come over here and get the shot on the 11, and then shoot the 12 ball, and I'm out. So I'm looking at this whole rack of 8 ball as 3 groups. One here, one in here, and one in this area. And all I want to do is shoot those groups. If I can make a 3 ball group here and a 2 ball group there and a 2 ball group there and put myself on the 8, I'll just run the rack. And like I said, there has to be some giveaway here, a little sponginess, because if I get a little bit out of line on these 3 balls, I might have to kick one of them out of the group and elect to shoot another one. This 14 goes here or there. My goal is to shoot all 3 of these balls in this group and leave myself a shot out of this group into the next group, which is going to be either in this area or that area. It all depends on how we clean up these 3 balls right here. But I'm not going to get extremely picky with it. As long as I can play shape to clear these 3 balls out and leave myself where I can get either here or there, I'm out. Because I only have a 2 ball group and a 2 ball group, and I'm on the 8. I can even look at the 11 and the 12 as my way of getting to the 8 and call the 8 and the 11 and the 12 one group. So I've got 3 groups. 3 balls, 2 balls, and 3 balls. So if you're mentally stuck trying to run 7 or 8 balls, even when they're all wide open like this, don't look at it as you're running 7 or 8 balls. Look at it as you're running 3 balls. How many times can you run 3 balls without missing? Probably quite often. So if you can do 2 and 3 little groups of 2 and 3 balls, you've run the whole rack. That's a mentality for straight pool. So let's try this. I'm going to shoot this 15 in the side. I'm going to use a little touch of draw. I want the cue ball to go over here. I'll have the 10 or the 13 next. It's a soft shot. So I'm going to shoot the 13 ball in the corner. Cue ball's going to come over here. We've got multiple ways I can do this. I just have to make sure that when I get to this little group area here, I have to move the 9 ball out of the way because the 12 won't go. So the 9 has to go before the 12. So I need to look at this angle that I'm going to get here. Since I'm going to be over here, I'm going to shoot the 10 ball, bring the cue ball off of this rail and out to shoot the 14 over here, leave the cue ball in here so I can shoot the 9. So that's how I'm going to transition from these 3 balls to these 2 balls. But I'm not worried about these now. I'm not running 7, I'm running 3. And all I have to do is make sure that when I leave these 3, I'm headed in a direction to the next 2. And here I'm just going to shoot this cue ball, bring it over here and back out. I'm not going to try to hold it because I'm afraid I'll get stuck on the rail right here. It's another straight little draw shot, about a tip below center. That's a perfect angle. stick with the plan. I'm going straight forward here to get this 14 ball. I'm a little bit coming into the rail right here. So I'm going to come back out, and it's going to be here. It's going to be a little bit of a weird angle. I may just float this ball up and shoot the 11 ball first. All I know is this is going to clear up my first 3 ball group. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this and get the cue ball over there where I need to have it. I'm not going to go all the way to the rail. I'm going to stop right there. And now I am evaluating what I've got here. Do I want to continue with the group that I was going to play next? I'm setting really great to do that. So that's what I'm going to do. If the cue ball, if I had been more here, then I would elect to shoot this ball first, and then shoot the 14 in the side, bring the cue ball over here and play the 9, come around for the 12. But the way it works out, I'm shooting the 14 and the 9 right now. I'm going to just stop this ball. Kind of drifted a little bit. I must have cut the ball by accident. It was straight in. Should have been a dead stop shot. But all I have to do now is get back on this 11 ball. If I can get the cue ball anywhere in here, I'm fine. And to do that, I can come straight back through here. I've got a pretty big area there. As long as I don't hit the 12 ball, I'm going to be fine. I could even probably put a bunch of inside spin on the ball and come off the rail here and there and come this way. I'd be a little bit afraid of scratching or maybe hitting the 8, so I don't want to do that. But I don't mind just bringing the cue ball back out here, shoot the 12, the 11, maybe go back and forth to get over here for the 12 ball. That's what we're going to do. I'm hitting low right hand spin on this ball. Worked out just right. So now all I have to do here, I'm on one more group. I just made 2 balls. I made 3 balls, then I made 2 balls, and I'm going to make 2 more balls, and they're going to get me right here to this 8. I just have to look at this angle to leave this ball to get on that 8 ball. I could get straight in and float and come over here and shoot the 8 up there, but who wants to do that? Much more room for error if I shoot the 8 right there. So all I have to do is leave myself an angle so I can make the 12 ball, come off the rail, and get up here to shoot the 8. So I'm going to draw this ball back a little bit, get off the rail, and leave myself an angle on the 12 ball. That's perfect. This little group is about done. This is just straight top. 1 tip above center, just the right speed. I don't want to go above these balls and get hooked. I want to keep it in this area. So we group those balls together, and now that they're off the table, if I wanted to run the solids out, say I had the 8 ball up here, anywhere, it doesn't matter, let's put the 8 right here. So now we're playing this game. Your opponent just ran 7 balls and scratched on his last shot, and now you have a ball in hand and you have to shoot these balls off to win the game. So there are 7 solids and the 8 ball. The thing is, you can play these in a group. So instead of thinking of shooting 7 individual shots that's going to lead me to this 8, I'm going to shoot 3 balls, 2 balls, and 2 balls. I can make 3 balls every time. I can make 2 balls even more often than I can make 3 balls. So if you think that way, there's no way you can't run more racks. here with the balls in the center of the table and I have a ball in hand, that's the first group I want to get rid of. Because I can get anywhere from either of these two balls. I don't have to worry about getting out of line because these balls are up on this end of the table where the 8 is. It's going to be an easy run out. If I shoot these first, I have to get to this group a little bit more. I have to be better at it because I have to get the right angle to get to the 1 ball and the 2 ball. But from here, all I have to do is that. Shoot, stop. So I'm going to clear 3 little groups of balls off here. And then I'm going to win the game. Here's just a little stun shot. I really thought I'd be here, but I'm still fine. I'm just going to put some inside spin on this ball. Cut it right there in the pocket. Pull the cue ball up. I'm going to pick off this little group. That group's finished. It doesn't matter that I was a little bit out of line. I'm starting all over. I've got 2 balls to shoot here. Those 3 are finished. I've got 2 here, and then I'll have 2 there, and then I'm done. Now, since this is the end of the table that I'm going to win on, I want to make sure that when I do get to this 5 ball and the 3 ball, it's in a manner that's going to give me a good shot at the 8 and I don't have to do something stupid with the cue ball. So, I do have to look at this angle on the 6, which I made sure to get one. And I'm just going to bring the cue ball straight up to here, anywhere in this area. Even if I have a slight angle on this, it's fine, because all I want to do is stop the cue ball anywhere in this area to shoot the 3 over there and drift up there for the 8. It's nice and easy. This is just another little half a tip of draw. And I'll come around here and look at this just to make sure. Yeah, it looks good. So I can float it, but I don't want to be stuck on the rail right here shooting the 3 and then have to follow it over there for short side on the 8. So I'm probably going to shoot it solid enough to stop. Even if the cue ball's here, that's perfect. I just don't want to be froze to the rail. So I am going to just stop the ball right there. It's a little bit of a cut, but I think I can still make it. Keep the cue ball off the rail. And then all I have to do is shoot this ball, the last of my 2 group up here, and I'm on the 8. So by doing it that way, you're grouping the balls in little groups. But I'm telling you, if you ever played straight pool, that's the secret to running a lot of balls playing straight pool. Not that I've run a lot of balls. 78's my record. It's not a world record, that's for sure, but it's my record. I haven't beaten it yet. I've had a few good runs at it, but I have not beaten 78. But the thing is, when I ran the 78 balls, it's just like the 600-man John ran the 600 and some balls. He didn't do them individually. He did those in little groups of 1 ball here, 2 balls there, 3 or 4 balls over here, 3 balls up there, and you group all of those groups together and they accumulate a total. And that's what we're doing here. Just group your 8 ball racks up instead of trying to plot out all 7 shots at one time and then you get a little bit out of line, you've run 5 and now you're over because you were looking at them individually. Try to start shooting them in little groups. Shoot a group of 2 here, a group of 3 over there, maybe a single ball that is considered a group that's going to get you on the last 2 or 3 that are down here. And when you start doing that, I think you're going to run more racks. Because if you can run 2 and 3 balls consistently and move the cue ball from one set of 2 or 3 balls to another set of 2 or 3 balls, there's no way you can't run out.